Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Just Be Real podcast. I'm your host, Marissa Tong. So happy to be back here. I have so much to talk about today. And if you guys are listening on a Friday, happy Friday. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I hope that, you're getting a little bit of rest or fun or joy, relaxation, whatever it is that you want this weekend. I hope that you are fully diving into that. So happy Friday. If you're listening on another day, happy Tuesday, happy Monday, whatever day it is. I hope that you're having a beautiful day. So y'all, we have a lot to talk about. Let me just say this. This is my second time recording this episode, and so much has transpired between the time that I recorded the original episode and the time that I'm sitting down right now to redo this, okay? So let me just tell you guys what happened. So woke up this morning, great mood, energized. I'm like, cool, like topic. We got a topic for the podcast, like ready to dive into it. I'm feeling refreshed. We haven't had a solo episode in a week, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's sit down. So I go to record the podcast and I literally get to the end, of the podcast. I want to say it was about like 20 minutes and my computer just dies. So the way that I have my podcast set up, I basically plug in my mic to my laptop and I have like a USB mic. So I just record straight from there. I was using Spotify for podcasters before, then they like switched up their whole system. So now I'm like trying out a few different things. So my computer just dies. Okay. I thought it was plugged in. Apparently the cord's acting weird. I don't know, girl. I had to like literally look up, like, is mercury in the microwave right now? Because what's happening? So I'm like, okay, cool. This is a test. I'm not going to allow it to get me upset. I take a couple deep breaths. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to allow my computer to charge. And when I come back, hopefully it'll be charged enough. And we'll try this again, right? So I'm outside. I'm walking Milo. It's beautiful today. Like, if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, like, and you're living in Jersey, New York, wherever, like, it's beautiful out today. So I'm like fully loving the weather. Sun is shining, like, amazing, right? So we're walking and I'm like on this block. I see like this car. Like, I don't pay attention. Honestly, like when I'm walking, not that I don't pay attention, but I'm not really like looking in people's cars like that and stuff. Like I'll see people, whatever, people drive by me, blah, blah, blah. Like I live in a pretty, I want to say safe neighborhood. Like I feel very safe walking around. I'm always walking with Milo, but I also choose the times to go outside and walk when I know like a lot of people aren't outside. That's just how I am. I'm an introvert. I like to just, have my space, have my peace. So whatever. So we're outside and I'm like walking a little bit. I see the car like kind of pull up. I thought like the car was about to park at like someone's house and like get out the car. So I see this guy like, like smile and wave, whatever. And I want to say I'm a pretty friendly person, when it comes to like strangers and stuff. Like if you're going to smile and wave at me, like, I'll do the same. Maybe not like, hey, like super, happy and excited, but there's a way that you could just do a polite. I think like I just did a smirk, to be honest with you. I don't think I like waved my hand. It was just like a smirk because I was like, what the fuck is all right? So so continue walking and get a little bit more down the street and I see him like pull up like to the side. So I'm like on the left side of the street, he's on the right side. So he pulls up like on the opposite side of the street, like parks, and at that point, like, I'm, like, kind of standing by someone's house. And fortunately, like, there was a dog outside that was, like, trying to fight Milo, whatever. So this dog's, like, barking nonstop. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but he gets out the car. And he's like, hey, how are you? So, like, I just automatically assume, like, this guy is going to try to, like, talk to me, or like try to get my number. So I'm like, okay. So I'm looking, to see what's going on. I look in his car, see like he has like Mexican flag like hanging from the rearview mirror. Not that that's important, but I like to pick up on details because God forbid, or you never know, I got to make a police report or something. I need to give some type of description. Okay. So I see this flag hanging in the car. He's driving like this black Escalade. I didn't really peep that the windows were tinted. I don't think that, but it was just like a Escalade. And this guy didn't really seem like he seemed very casual. Like he didn't seem like he was in like business attire, like driving people around. So it was just very weird. And he maybe seemed, if not my age, maybe like a little bit younger. So maybe 30 or less. So he comes over and he's like, "Hey, like I saw you walking and like your dog is so cute. What kind of dog is it?" So I'm like, "He is a Maltese and a Shih Tzu." So he's like, "Oh, okay, like my sister or my cousin, whatever, she's thinking about getting like the same kind of dog. Like, is it okay if like I take a picture of the dog?" So I'm like, "Sure, okay." So he's like taking a video or a picture of Milo, whatever. So and he's like, "Yeah, I just thought you were really beautiful. Like I saw you walking, like you're so beautiful, whatever." So I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you. Like, thank you." Trying to be, nice, but also like quick so that I could get out of there. I'm trying to end the conversation. So I'm like, "Okay, thank you." So then he's like, "Yeah, and I thought that you had like really pretty feet, and I was just wondering like like if I think he said if I could touch them. I really don't know at that point. Like I was very weirded out, so I wasn't really listening to what he was saying clearly, but I want to say that he said I wanted to know if I could touch them or something like that. And then he's like, "Would you like, can I pay you?" So I'm like, "What?" Like and mind you, I almost want to show you guys like the shoes that I had on, like like the styrofoam, like really soft but like clunky shoes that like are trendy right now and everybody's wearing them. Like I'm wearing those in like a orange color, bright ass orange color, okay? And you can't even really see my feet. So what are you talking about? And like, bro, you were driving. There's no way you saw my toes or like my feet. So automatically I hear like the "can I pay you?" and like red flag just goes off. I'm like, this guy is a freaking weirdo. So I'm like, "Oh, no, thank you." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I actually have to take a call, whatever, like, so, I have to go. So he's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Do you live around here?" So I'm like, "Yeah." So he's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "Maria." So I usually don't tell people my name, depending on the situation, if I'll feel it out. But I just went with Maria, right? Close to my name, I know, but whatever. So he like shakes my hand and then he's like, "Oh, do you smoke? Like I actually was about to smoke right now. Like, do you want to smoke together?" I'm like, "Oh, no, thank you. I'm actually about to take a call." So I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta go." And he's like, "Oh, can I get your number?" So of course, like I do what any woman's gonna do. I lie and I say I have a boyfriend. So I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. Like I have a boyfriend." So he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So he goes in to hug me. This guy is clearly like not well. Like yeah, something was definitely off. And I don't know if that was like, I don't know. I don't know. But it was just a very strange situation. Like I was literally in flight or fight because like yes, it's the middle of the day. Yeah, the sun is shining. Thank God we were like right next to this person's like gate and their dog was outside like barking because you don't know like this guy could have tried to like snatch me and throw me in his car or something like that, and I was like literally by this girl's house that I know. So in a way, like I did feel safe. Like I was really calm and I was like low-key just like asking God, like, "God, please like let this situation like not turn crazy right now." So he goes back to his car, he drives off or whatever. So I was like trying to think like which direction to go because I didn't want to go away where he could like get on the same side of me on the street. You know what I'm saying? So like I was like, okay, let me strategically stay on the opposite side of the street so that like he can just keep driving, because like he wouldn't have been able to turn and be on the same side of the street. Like he could have, but he would have had to make a U-turn. So I'm just thinking like, damn. So basically, I'm over here like checking, like, is this shit still recording? Okay. Okay, so Zoom, boom, whatever. Fast forward, I go to like this little park, like my cute little hangout spot. I feel pretty safe there. So I'm like sitting there for a couple minutes, like just trying to like regulate my nervous system and really just process what the heck happened. Like, what the heck just happened? Like, why is it okay to get out of your car? Not only like you're saying multiple weird shit. First, you're talking about like you want to take a picture of the dog. Then it's my feet. Then I'm beautiful. You want to get my number. Like, what is going on here? So I'm just assuming like this man is not well. Like, one thing that I learned about being a woman, right, is sadly like you have to be very nice and you have to kind of walk on eggshells and kind of tiptoe around these men sometimes because you don't know. Like there's been so many stories where like men have killed women because they got rejected or done something crazy or just switched completely. So I'm like, I don't know this man. I don't know what he's capable of. I don't know what he's about to do. He has this big ass truck over here. I just felt super unsafe. So not only did I go through recording this whole podcast just for the shit to turn off, and then I come back right after the shit happened. I come back to see like if the recording got saved, didn't get saved. Okay. Like that would have been another thing where it's like, okay, like it turned off, but at least it saved the podcast. So this is what happened today. And it's only like, I don't even know what time it is right now, but it's early afternoon. And yeah, that was just a really crazy situation. And then I come inside and I'm like, okay, let me meditate before like I jump into the podcast. Like, let me ground myself. Let me eat, right? Like things that I know are going to like change my mood. Like, let me meditate, let me eat, let me pray because I didn't even get to do these things this morning. And maybe this is a sign from God. Like, girl, you need to, sit down and ground yourself before like jumping into work. So, I'm sitting down and about to get ready to meditate, and my screen door like flies open. And that shit scared the F out of me. Okay. And I know it was the wind. It's a little windy today, but I didn't know it was that windy. Like, what the heck? I'm already going through this traumatic situation. And then all of a sudden I hear my door flying open. I was like, nah, nah, I got to pray right now. I need to sage my space right now. Okay. So I did my meditation. I was able to get my heart rate down, regulate my nervous system, breathe. Like I did some breath work because I was like, I can't get on my podcast like in this mindset, but I was like, but I surely have to tell them what happened because this is crazy. Oh God. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the gist of what happened today. So here we are on the podcast, and I kind of just wanted to catch up with you guys. Last week we didn't have a solo episode on Friday, and we didn't have one on Tuesday. Like I literally was just like I needed a break. I literally just need a break. And so I took the break. I'm someone who is very self-aware, and I know when like it's time for me to take breaks and take a step back. So I listen to myself. I listen to my body. I listen to my intuition. So I gave myself that break, and here we are. We're back. Okay? So last week, I actually went to Philly. This is kind of like a catch-up episode. So yeah, we're going to get into like the topic, and we're still going to be talking about like boss shit, but I also just wanted to catch up with you guys. There's been so much going on, but yeah, so last week I went to Philly. And I went with my girl Rakia. Shout out to Rakia, my bestie. And the main reason we went was to see Kid Fury. If you guys don't know who he is a podcaster, he's a show writer, he's a comedian, like he's a co-host on the podcast The Read, which I want to say they've been doing the show for 10 years now. They've definitely been on for a while, and one of my favorite podcasts. And yeah, he's been touring doing like this stand-up show, and the show was eye-opening. Like I knew kind of like what was going on with him, and he talks, if you've been following him or you know who he is, he's very honest and open and vulnerable about his struggles with depression and anxiety over the years, and being in the entertainment industry, also being a gay Black man. And he talks about trigger warning. He talks about, trying to take his own life at Coachella and just like all this stuff. And this is all stuff that's happened like in the past, year. So it's kind of like him just bringing light to not only mental health, right, but also to the fact that you might think that someone's doing really well, and that's just not the case. That's just not the case. And he's been on like, shows that I've liked. He's written for shows that I've liked. And I feel like we have to stop confusing people's success and the way that they show up in their work as them being mentally okay or as them being happy, right? Like those things, I'm sorry, like I don't think that those things are directly proportionate. Like just because one, you might be successful in one doesn't mean that the other is going well, right? You could be really successful in work and your home, your mental health, your emotional health, like your physical health, like those could all be going to shit. So we have to not only check in with ourselves, but which I talk about so much on this podcast, like checking in with yourself, taking care of your mental health, right? But also checking on our people. Check on your friends, check on your people. Like even this guy today, like clearly like he was not well. Something was like, you don't just in your right state of mind, you're not just going to jump out the car and try to give a woman money for her feet. To do what? And like, what it, I'm moving on from that. I can't. I'm just still baffled. I'm sorry. Like, I'm really in shock. But long story short, Philly was a great time. Not too crazy about the city, Philly, you know, not gonna lie. Like, I've been there a couple times, not too crazy about it. I really feel like New York and LA are the superior cities in the States. But, you know, Philly's cute. Philly was a vibe. It was cute. Had fun, like, just spending time with my girl and eating and just doing what girls do, laughing. Like, for me, it doesn't take a lot to, like, impress me. Like, I don't need a lot to have a good time. Like, I just need good food. I just need good company. I need to be able to laugh. I need to be around like good scenery. I'm not too hard to please. But all right, let's jump into today's topic, y'all. Okay. We are still in our Boss Era series. We have 2 episodes left for the month of July, including today. So after today, we have one more episode and we're going to be diving into another topic relating to entrepreneurship and boss girl-ish, okay? But today, I want to talk about something that I don't hear a lot of people talking about. And I feel like it's very important to talk about it, actually. Okay. I want to talk about the importance of realizing and affirming that everybody is not for you. Okay. So, in your business, right? Whatever it is that you are offering, whatever it is that you are putting out there, your services, your products, your content, your events, whatever it is that you do, we have to understand that regardless of how hard we feel like we're working or how many people we're able to reach, right? Whether that is through your followers, whether that's through email marketing, whether that's through live events, right? Networking in person. It's not guaranteed that the people that see your things, right? See your ads, see your offers, right? See the things that you are putting out. It's not guaranteed that those people are going to support you and support your business, okay? When I say support you, I mean support your business. We're going to separate business and personal here, okay? And that's really what the conversation is about. But it's not guaranteed that people are going to support you. They don't have to support you, okay? And I want to talk about the importance of really growing your niche, growing your audience, building your tribe, finding the people that want to support you, finding the people who want to take part in the things that you are putting out in the world, right? Finding the right people to serve, finding your community is very important. So just because you have a bunch of followers or just because you feel like a lot of people are watching your things or your engagement is great, right? That doesn't equate to sales, okay? It doesn't mean that people are going to buy. It doesn't mean that people are going to click, right? Sometimes a click is free, but it doesn't mean that people are going to click. So we have to really make sure that we are not taking it personal when people are not showing up for us in our business, okay? I'm going to give you guys an example, and it's not really an example. It's actually like a true story. So I used to be someone who was very sensitive, and I would get offended very easily when people like wouldn't come to my classes or support me. And I'm talking about like back in the day, like when I would teach like Zumba at the gyms. And it's so funny, I was talking to my girl about this last night, and I was saying like, which this is going to be a whole nother podcast topic episode. Like we will definitely have a separate episode talking about it because I think it's really important, especially in the fitness industry. But I was talking about how there is such like a difference in males classes, like, like taking a man's class in a gym, or yeah, let's just say a gym versus taking a woman's class, right? I feel like men, most times, I'm not going to say all, but they really don't have to do much to fill up their classes. They don't have to do much to get women to show up for them. And I used to feel like, in certain spaces that I used to teach in, that like I was working just as hard, if not harder, on my routines, and my music was lit and my playlist, and I wouldn't even get, okay, let me stop being dramatic. I was going to say I wouldn't even get half, but I wouldn't get the same number of people that my male, counterparts, acquaintances, coworkers would get in their class. And then I would just be like, now I know my routines are good. Okay. Now I know that I'm talented. Now I know that my music is popping, so like I really had to affirm that in myself. So it was never like a lack of confidence about my classes or what I was offering, or, my level of talent. It was never that. I just always felt that it wasn't fair. So like I would get super offended when I would see these women because like they were around at the time that I was teaching, but either like they wouldn't come or they wouldn't come as much. So like I would really feel some type of way. And also like, other instructors that I would hang out with, they would also like say like shady shit, like, oh, she doesn't come to my class, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I found myself being sucked into that mindset, right? And the truth is, like, what it really comes down to is like, you are not for everybody, and that's okay. Like everyone doesn't need to like you. And it's nothing personal, right? Whether that is personal, right? Where they don't want to show up and support you or buy from you or take advantage of your services, whatever it is that you're offering, because they don't like you, which could be a factor. Like I'm not ruling that out. But also like, okay, like who cares, right? Like that's the thing. It's like when you are authentically doing something that you love, or you're doing it with good intentions, you're not going to care about the reasons that people aren't showing up and supporting you. You're only going to be focused on the people that are showing up and supporting you, right? Or how can I find the people? How can I find my tribe? How can I market myself so that the people who are aligned, right? Alignment is a really important word. How can I market myself and put myself out there so that I am aligning with the right people versus me being so concerned with the people who are not supporting me and not showing up for me, right? It's all about energy. It's all about where your energy is going, right? Your energy and your mindset. So like if my energy is negative, right? I'm putting out negative energy, speaking negative words. Oh, this person, they don't support me. They suck. Oh, they don't like me because blah, blah, blah. They don't like me because I'm a woman. They don't like me because I'm black. They don't like me, blah, 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 right? I'm putting energy and I'm feeding into that narrative, regardless whether it's true or not, rather than me shifting my energy into a space that's more positive, right? Where now I could put myself in the vibration to attract the right people, right? Oh, I know that there's people out there for me. I know the right people are looking for me. Oh, I just got a bunch of new followers this week. I wonder, why these people decided to follow me. Like, are they looking for something? Can I offer them something? Can I connect with them? How can I connect with them? How can I market better? What's a way that I could really connect with new people this week, right? There's so many different areas that we can focus our attention on, but when we're constantly just focused on the negative and the people that aren't showing up and buying, we have to remove the sense of entitlement, because that's really what it is, right? It's a sense of entitlement, entitled to believe that people need to support you because they know you. And that's really where this energy comes from, right? A lot of the times we're feeling some type of way, or we're offended, or we are sensitive because we know the people, and we feel like because we know them, or because they know us, or because they follow us, or because we talked to them, right? Or because we met them, that they have to show up and support, or because they said they're going to. A lot of people are going to say that they're going to do something and not do it. So if you want to take that personal, that people are saying they're going to do something, saying they're going to show up, saying they're going to buy a ticket, and they don't, maybe you're not meant to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you're not meant to be in a space where you're offering things to people, but you cannot take rejection. Part of being a business owner and an entrepreneur is being able to take the rejection, to be able to accept the failure, right? And failure is, it sounds like such a bad word, but like you could fail in so many ways. You could fail in small ways, right? Failure to me could be I had to cancel my class because I only had 2 people signed up, right? That could be a sense of failure. So you have to be okay with the fact that like things are not going to look the way that you want them to look. And this is something that I love to talk about to people too. Like your friends and your family, they do not have to support you. They do not have to show up for you. And a lot of the times they will not. A lot of the times they will not. And I had to learn that so many times, time and time again, right? When I first started my Zumba class and I was running out this studio and I thought I could do everything by myself without like networking and without like ever teaching at a gym. And, you know, like I was just trying to go straight into entrepreneurship, right? Because I knew that that's something that I always wanted for myself. I knew that, but I wasn't going about it the right way. I assumed that my classes were going to be filled with friends and family. And I was super wrong. I was so wrong. I was so wrong. And, you know, it's a level of acceptance that comes with having a business and doing your own thing. You have to accept that people sometimes will not show up for you. Specifically talking about friends and family. And there's nothing that's wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, like just because someone is blood related to you or just because someone is your friend, it doesn't mean that they want to partake in what you're offering. It doesn't mean that it's aligned with them. It doesn't mean that they have the money. It doesn't mean that they have the resources, right? And yes, there's so many other ways that we could support our friends and our family's businesses. We can share their posts with people that we know. We can spread the word. We can write reviews for that. You know, like there's different ways to support people other than monetary or buying something or showing up physically, right? So if you are someone that has, you know, a friend or family member that is running a business, like think of other ways that you can support them that is outside the box. Or maybe like, you know, if you don't really like what they're selling or you're not really into it, you know, there's different ways to support people. You can show emotional support. You can show mental support. There's a lot of different ways to support people. So we just have to get creative and think outside the box. And the last thing I'm going to say here is when it comes to social media and when it comes to putting your stuff out there as a business owner, putting your content, your offers, your ads, whatever, your marketing, flyers, if people are not liking them and you're getting offended that people are not liking them and you see people, you know, that follow you, you see people watching your stories, whatever, like, who cares? If it's really bothering you that much that they're not liking your stuff or they're not clicking on your stuff or they're not leaving comments or whatever, like unfollow them. If it's really that serious, you know, like I'm someone that's really all or nothing. So it's either that I'm going to allow myself to continue to be upset about this or I'm just going to cut ties, you know, or it's just going to be a situation where like I'm getting myself out of this situation where I'm not going to allow it to affect me or I'm not going to have the time or the capacity to even think about this, you know, to even allow myself to get upset over it. There's a lot of things that we can't control in life, but we can control like putting ourselves in that space. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm getting annoyed or I'm taking it personal every time I see this person, you know, watching my story, first 3 people, you know, on my story, whatever, but I'm feeling like, oh, they don't support me, blah, blah. This person doesn't come to my class, blah, blah. Like, I'm just going to unfollow them, you know? And I'm giving a specific example that relates to my business, but this could be something that relates just to you, right? If anything is disturbing your peace, if anything is upsetting you constantly and it's making you feel like shit, take yourself out of the equation. It's that simple. Remove yourself from the equation. We do not have to stick around, and we do not have to settle for scraps, and we do not have to communicate with people who we don't feel like truly support us or show up for us in that way. And if they don't, that's cool. That's okay. Right? But if you're going to be someone that is like, oh, I can't be friends with this person because she doesn't buy from me. Well, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Okay. You can't get upset that people don't want to help themselves. You can't take it personal that people don't want to, take whatever advice that you're giving them. There's just a lot of things that we cannot take personal. People are going to make their own decisions. People literally have their own freedom to make decisions. There's a million people probably doing the same thing that you're doing. There's a million people offering dance and fitness classes the same as me. Am I going to get offended that this person decides not to take my class and takes the other person's class? No, who cares? The right people are going to come and find me, and it's going to be aligned. Think about it this way. The more that you accept the fact that certain people are not meant for you in your business, they're not meant to be clients, they're not meant to be customers, like now you're making more space, not only mentally, but physically, to have the right people come in and support you. Think about it. It's all energetics. It's all about energetic space. Right? So if I'm holding on to this mindset, oh my God, this person, like I think, I'm expecting this same person to show up. I'm expecting this same client. I'm depending on this same client, this same customer to continue to buy from me, to continue to show up for me, right? I'm not thinking about the person that is actually considering showing up and buying from me, right? Because I'm just thinking about this one person, why this one person's not showing up, why these two people aren't showing up, why these two people no longer want to be customers, no longer want to be clients, why these people have unsubscribed. Like, get over it. We cannot take it personally. You're not for everyone. That is it. Okay. We're going to leave this conversation here. I hope that you guys, are feeling a little bit better. If you are someone that's sensitive and you get easily offended, like I want you to work on that. For real. Like work on that, because part of being a successful business owner, entrepreneur, boss, baddie, whatever you want to call it, is being able to have tough skin. A lot of things are going to either shock you or not feel good or not be going right, quote unquote. I'm saying that with quotes, not go right or not go as expected. So we have to lower our expectations. And I know that sounds bad. I'm not saying lower your standards. Standards and expectations are two different things. You could have high standards, right? You could want really high quality clientele, high paying clientele that they have no problem paying for your services. They have no problem paying for whatever you're asking for, right? But we can't expect that. We can't expect it. Okay. So I hope that you guys enjoy this episode. I hope that it was valuable. Okay. I hope that you loved it. And before we end, I just want to make a really quick announcement. So we officially have opened up our next retreat for Greece in 2025. We are heading to Mykonos and Andros Island from May 7th to the 13th. So 7 days of sun and fun. This is the goddess retreat. So we're going to be connecting with our feminine energy through nature, through dance, through movement, through journaling, through community. I'm really excited for this because it's Greece. Why not? And also because so many of you guys have asked about coming to the next retreat for next year. I know we're very close, I'm not going to say to the end of the year, but we're pushing towards the end of the year. And I know a lot of people like to plan ahead and think ahead. So if you're interested, we have just opened up registration. You can use the code EMPOWER1 at checkout. That'll take $150 off of your total booking. And early bird registration ends August 4th. So you could take advantage of that discount until August 4th. And guys, if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, drop a rating and review. If you love the podcast, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel so you get notified when we upload new videos. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care, y'all.